are the New York Knicks. I'm back. Back in the New York. Well, it's the Knicks. New York. We are the New York Knicks. New York. For this new season we're about to enter, the Knicks is taking no shorts, just like winter. New York, New York.
New York be about the Knicks, huh?
But the best thing about New York City is
K-N-I-C-K-S.
Everybody say go New York, go New York, go!
Go New York, go New York, go!
Hey everybody, welcome to the New York Knicks podcast, episode 557, part of Dash Radio. I am Jay. How you doing, Mark?
Good. I am here for the emergency Wang Zayland and Brad Newley episode. Man, I'm excited about these moves.
It's exciting times here.
Yes, Wang Zayland and Brad Newley are going to lead us to the promised land. I already bought my son a Wang Zayland and Brad Newley jersey, both jerseys, because I'm just going to invest in both. Things are happening here. Thank you, Leon Rose. We're going to the promised land.
So, all the young guys were in health and safety protocols. They're starting to come back, but now Randle and Robinson are in it. I'm in health and safety protocols, and it's not fun. It's not fun.
Jay, did you even know what I was talking about?
I just figured those were 10-day contracts that they signed. There's so many random players entering the NBA. You could have said whatever, two names, and I would have believed you.
Okay, which one's a real person, Wang Zayland or Brad Newley?
I feel like they're both real, but they might not be NBA players.
No, they're both real. They're both not NBA players either, though. So the Knicks were involved in a big trade. The Lakers needed to, get a roster spot emptied and save some money. They traded Rajon Rondo to the Cavaliers, and the Knicks stepped in and said, "We will facilitate this trade." The Knicks got Denzel Valentine. They gave up the draft rights to Luis Laberreri from 2014. He's from France. The Knicks are done with France. And the Knicks, in doing that, I think the Lakers saved $4 million. The Knicks saved $1 million. Yay. And the Knicks got the draft rights to Wang Zayland, who was the 57th pick in the 2016 NBA draft. I don't know where he plays now. And they also got the draft rights to Brad Newley, the 54th pick in the 2007 NBA draft, who I believe plays in Australia. And based on when he was drafted, I'm hoping he was drafted as a fetus.
How long can you keep a player's rights for? It's like
I don't have any idea.
15 years ago? Like,
it doesn't even make any sense to me. But anyway, the Knicks did this. My understanding is little limited. I think this was about just saving the Knicks $1 million, which some people on Twitter have said, no, this is Leon Rose. He's going to put on a big move. The first step is to make a trade that saves you $1 million. The second step, major superstar.
That's exactly enough money to get Giannis.
Leon Rose
Really?
is like, I'm just going to do this trade just to see what happens on Knicks Twitter. Just see how people erupt with stupidity.
He's playing 4D chess, man. You don't even get it.
5D chess now. 1 million D chess. Hey, Leon, why'd you do this? Because Dolan said, save me $1 million because this season sucks, so I did that.
Is health and safety protocols just a sports term, or is that like a common term?
I don't know, but we were in health. We were exposed, but we did not get COVID. My family. So I kept saying we were in health and safety protocols, and I started thinking, I'm like, I'd say they use it sports. Is this just from sports, or do they say it anywhere else? I think it's just sports.
Because I emailed HR today and I said I'm in health and safety protocols, and I just left it at that, and I didn't get a response. So I don't know if they're confused.
I think the NBA doesn't want to give out medical information and say someone's positive for COVID.
Mm-hmm.
So their way around it was have this kind of, and maybe other sports do, I don't know. But their way around it was this kind of bland term of like health and safety protocols.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. We all know what that means.
Wink, wink. It's either COVID or he's got AIDS. Just letting you know. But But anyway, I don't really understand why the Lakers traded Rondo. They needed a roster spot. I don't know why.
LeBron needs more help.
Well, it just seemed like Rondo. I don't know. I mean, there aren't that many useful players in the Lakers bench. I thought Rondo would be a useful player, but I know the Cavaliers needed Rondo because Rubio got injured. He's out for the season.
Yeah.
And who gives a shit about the Lakers? And who gives a shit about the Cavs? Do you know, Jay, the Knicks, what their plus minus is with Randle on the court versus off the court?
It was, I think it's like minus, I'm going to say minus 74.
Yeah. So with basically the Knicks without Randle on the court, before he went into health and safety protocols, they were outscoring teams by 15.9 points when Randle was on the bench. Also, there was a stat basically put out there by Jonathan Macri at Knicks Film School, basically of every player's stats with Randle and without Randle. And every player, I mean, spoiler alert, every player's stats were much better without Randle. Alex Burks was a negative 7.7. Without Randle, he's a plus 16. Derrick Rose, plus 1 versus plus 14. Even Evan Fournier is a negative 4, goes to a negative 1. Everyone gets substantially better. Emmanuel quickly is 20 points better without Randle on the floor. So what does this all mean? And by the way, Taj Gibson goes from a negative 11.9 to a plus 24.
Well, Tibbs was saying that Randle was playing a little banged up. That could be the entire reason that he was playing bad. Maybe going into health and safety protocols, hopefully he's asymptomatic and this just is rest. He comes back healthy and he starts playing like he did last year. How's that for some positivity?
That has some positivity. I also was going to say what all this means is the plus minus doesn't mean what you think it means because the Knicks just lost 2 games without Randle. They didn't look very good without him.
Well, not only did they lose, they got annihilated by a Detroit team that had like 12 guys missing.
Yeah, and then got crushed by the Raptors.
Yeah.
They don't even look like in the same league as the Raptors.
No. The Raptors were a pretty healthy team, and so they just got annihilated. Detroit, I don't know. Detroit had like, I think 8 of their top 9 guys were out. And they still got crushed, so no excuse for that.
I think you mean OKC, not Detroit. They beat Detroit.
OKC.
Yeah, OKC. Yeah.
Thank you.
That's what I thought you meant. Yeah, no problem.
Thank you, stats.
Yeah. I mean, were you expecting when Randle was out, the Knicks were suddenly like all this on the court, off the court stuff, and Randle's holding us back? Did you think like basically the Knicks were like, okay, now without Randle, they're gonna succeed? I was curious,
but I wasn't like, oh, it's go time. Also, I am not an Obi truther, and I was not expecting like, oh my God, Obi's just going to go off because Randle was holding him back. I think he's an okay player, and he's going to put up okay numbers.
You know, when Obi stands in the corner and waits to shoot a 3, sometimes I think he's doing that because he bet money on the other team.
Seriously, he takes so many threes for a guy who just can't shoot at all.
So bad at 3-pointers. So bad. Before we even get into the players, I want to defend someone. You know who deserves being defended? Not Leon Rose. Do you want to defend Leon Rose? I don't want to defend Leon Rose.
Not really. By the way, Obi's 3-point percentage has skyrocketed to 21%. Last week, he was at 19%.
Wow. Mm-hmm. So he can go 1 for 4 and shoot that percentage up.
Yes, literally, that's what happened.
Leon Rose, he's done a decent job with drafting. He put this team together kind of oddly. We could all maybe another time talk about maybe they should have gotten DeMar DeRozan instead of Fournier. Not that we were calling for that. Lonzo Ball, we were calling for. He would have made whatever. His roster construction is not great. But I've noticed a lot of people have turned on Tibbs.
A lot.
And I'm here a lot, at least online. It seems like people are like, oh, Tibbs has lost the team. They're not listening. The defense is bad. I think he's lost the locker. I don't know, Tibbs. Maybe Tibbs needs to go. People are out of their goddamn mind.
Mm-hmm.
I understand Tibbs has his shortcomings. I understand it'd be nice if he put out maybe any game plan at all on the offense. His defense looks like there's no game plan there either. Out of timeouts, it looks like he just said, hey, do whatever you want. But I still think he's a pretty good coach, and I think it'd be absolutely insane to move on from him right now.
The Knicks are not going to do that. So, he won Coach of the Year last year.
Only Knicks fans are like, I know you won Coach of the Year, 5 months ago, but you're done here.
I mean, coaching has nothing to do with Randle playing like he's playing and Barrett playing like he's playing. Noel has played 17 minutes all season. These are not Tibbs' fault.
This is what I really want to harp on, is that whatever you want to say about Tibbs' shortcomings and what he's done wrong this year, the Knicks are 17-20. If Randle just played almost as good as last year and RJ played as good as last year, Knicks are 17-20. Knicks would probably be 25-15 or something like that.
Yeah.
The Knicks would be they'd have a much better record. I don't know what there's nothing Tibbs is doing that's making Randle this worse. You could have expected maybe Randle would be not quite as good as last year. He is so much worse than last year. He's possibly worse than he was his first year here.
Yeah. So it's that kind of stuff I don't put on Tibbs. What I do put on him is when you have a point guard who's older and he has a questionable knee, playing him 40 minutes a game, 3 straight games, because now Kemba might have a knee problem and might miss some extended time.
Maybe, just maybe, Tibbs said, I want to play the young guys. What's the best politically correct way I could do this? Tibbs, Kemba, go get injured. By the way, the Knicks have signed a guard. You know that?
I don't even care about all these minor league signings.
Why would you call it minor league signings? The Knicks have signed Ryan Arcidiacono. I believe that's the correct way to pronounce his last name.
He was he was on the Bulls, right?
Yes. Did you remember that, or you looked that up?
No, I remember that.
Oh, okay. He won the Big East Player of the Year in 2016. Received the most outstanding player at in Villanova's 2016. He was co-winner of Big East Player of the Conference of the Year in 2016. Whatever. He's a 6'3" guard, 27 years old. He's shown he's looked halfway decent in the G League. I know nothing about this guy. I like the fact the Knicks are trying to scour the G League to find players. That's at least something.
Yeah, that's the thing about playing fantasy basketball. I have to look at box scores all the time. So that guy stuck out to me just because he had such a interesting last name. This season, can't do it. There's so many random players in the league. You can't keep track of. Do you know how many players have gotten COVID?
I'm gonna say 85.
Close, 374.
Oh, crap. Ay. That's insane.
Yeah, there's about 450 players in the NBA, so pretty much everybody.
I guess I really should have gone. I was maybe a little bit over. Maybe I should say 95.
So, I guess the good news is almost everybody got it. So the roster should go back to normal soon.
By March, everyone will have superpowers.
I would think by March, everyone will probably have been in and out of it already. So we'll get to see the actual preseason rosters playing finally.
Maybe by March, when you go to COVID protocols, they'll just stick you in an NBA locker room because they'll be this is the safest place on earth.
Right.
Yeah. So I just want to go back to Tibbs for a second. I think so I know you mentioned the centers like Noel. I think all that stuff Tibbs could have gotten past if not for the fact that Randle and Barrett suck this year. I think there's nothing else. I think there's almost no way to overcome that. You
Yeah.
can't have the two best players in your team completely, and maybe you could argue Derrick Rose's too. But anyway, our Barrett, Randall, your two best players come out and just suck. And people were saying like, "Oh, Randall might be a little worse." No one expected Barrett to be worse than his first year in the league.
Yeah, it's inexplicable. I don't know what it is, but like, yeah, he had that 1 week where he was good, and everyone's like, "Oh, this is it." He took the leap, and then that was it for like the next 6 weeks.
Yeah, he was like, "I'm going to take a step forward and take 10 steps back. See how that goes." Yeah, he said he had that stomach issue, but like, what stomach issue do you have that you can't play basketball for 4 weeks?
I have no idea. It seemed weird to me. I don't know.
I don't know. I'm sure he had some issue, but yeah, either way, because I feel like if Randall's offense is going, he plays better defense. When his offense is not going, he just sulks.
Yeah.
So if he's playing better, he'd play better defense. I think Barrett sulks a little bit also. If both of them were just hitting more shots and their offense would just look better, I think their defense would look better also. I think all this shit with Fournier sucking and everyone else would not have been as big a deal.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, when your top two players take a huge step back, it's hard to recover from that, especially when everybody else also took a step back. Like, has anybody, like, maybe Obi took a little step forward?
A little step, yeah.
And that's
not
about
as
it?
big a step as I thought, yeah.
That's really
no,
about
it's
it.
real. Quickly, a little step forward.
Maybe. It looks pretty
Yeah,
much
a little.
same to me.
He looks like he's not hitting that many shots, but like he looks better. Like he looks like he's a better playmaker,
He's just got
and
to.
his defense is better.
He's got to be a better decision maker with his shot, though. He seems like he hits one shot and he goes into heat check mode, and it's like, have you ever played NBA Jam? You got hit at least 3.
He's always in heat check mode. It's so annoying. I like quickly, but yeah. I mean, Fournier's been. Fournier is shooting the lowest percentage he shot in his whole career. Why do people always do this when he comes to the Knicks?
I don't know. The thing that really gets me is it just seems like there's no plan. Both sides of the court, they don't guard the 3-point line. They don't run plays. Like, it just seems like there's no plan at all, and I don't understand it, and it's not sustainable.
Yeah, I mean, I think that in Tibbs, like people kept saying, like, why isn't Tibbs giving, like, why is he should limit Randall's minutes, or like you should take him off the court, or why is he playing Randall so much? I think Tibbs, the one thing he knows for sure is that if Randall doesn't figure his shit out, this team's done.
Yeah.
Like he looks at his roster as like, my only path forward is getting Randall right, nothing else, and Barrett right also, but Randall more than anyone. If I can't get them right, we're just not winning games.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. There's no game. I don't understand like why the defense is so much worse than last year. I mean, I guess the centers have been injured, and Randall gives less effort, and Fournier sucks at defense. Okay, maybe I do understand. Fournier is really bad. I mean, his defense is like atrocious. He's just not that fast. He doesn't keep up with players.
Yeah,
and his offense just doesn't make up for it.
He'll have a game once every like 2 weeks where you're like, oh, and then he'll just go back to bad.
They do. I mean, also just to kill also Tibbs on some stuff. Like I noticed in the Detroit in the Pistons game, but the Knicks ended up winning. Wally Zerbiak, which a lot of people don't like him as a commentator. Do you like Wally when he calls the games?
No, I feel like he's trying to be Clyde.
I like Wally. I don't really understand why he gets so much crap, but I know a lot of Knicks fans don't like him. But he made a couple of good points in the game. So early in the game against Detroit, he pointed out the Knicks, like 9 of the Knicks' first 11 shots were threes, and they were like missing everything. And he's like, the 9 of 11 of their first shots are threes, and it's not like Detroit has any shot blockers out there. You would think like Detroit having no bigs really at all for that game, the Knicks would have said like, hey, let's attack the basket. And they just did not do that. Like you'd think Randall would be like, oh, I'm gonna eat them alive tonight. Instead, he did nothing. I thought that was just an interesting point to make. And then I think Randall later in the game like hustled on a fast break, and Wally was just like, oh, Randall, look what an easy basket he gets when he hustles. I was like, that's a nice shot at Randall when you're complimenting him.
Yeah.
And then there was another one. I forget. You know what? I forget the third one, but it was what was the third one?
I mean, it's,
but anyway,
it's fine to hint at that through the media, but like in practice, he's got to be like, "Yo, get your shit together." Like, I hope he's doing that.
I hope he's doing that, and I guess like maybe he'll get his shit together. Maybe I think they said Kemba said when he was out, when not playing, he observed some things that made him better when he got back to the court.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe Randall watching the games will get better watching the games.
Hopefully.
My only theory is, so one theory I have is that I remember it in the Christmas game when the Knicks played on Christmas. They mentioned that Randall was going to make dinner for the family after the game, which sounds really nice, right? Mm-hmm. They make him sound like he's kind of a very hands-on father, which is great. He has a pretty young kid, like a 4 or 5, like a 5-year-old maybe, and a new baby. Maybe he's trying to be pretty hands-on, and that's just made him like extra tired. And like the fact that he was making Christmas dinner, and I know he's super rich, he doesn't really have to do that. And maybe that's the only time he's making Christmas dinner, only time he's cooking dinner. But maybe on the other hand, he tries to be really hands-on with his kids, which is wonderful again for his kids, but maybe not wonderful for us as Knicks fans.
Maybe, but plenty of players have had kids and not walked up and down.
Not a single player has had kids, and it's never been done before, Jay. Stop it. That was my only theory I could figure. I mean, I'm trying to figure out why Randall's so much worse this year, and the only thing I can think of is maybe like the new kid has somehow thrown him off. Like, Jay, when you find out, I don't know, he's the first player ever to have a kids, you're going to feel sorry. I don't know.
We are NY Knicks Podcast at gmail.com. Kelsey writes, longtime listener, first time emailer. Thank you for emailing us. Have you guys heard about this? Wally Zerbiak and Rebecca Harlow are dating, and Rebecca Harlow is having Wally's kid.
Nice. Does he have? Does he send the link for when they had kids? Like the actual act? Is that being released?
Are you asking for a porno video?
Probably not. Isn't that is kind of funny? Did you already know that, Jay?
I did know that. Yeah, that is kind of interesting. I wonder if that was a conflict of interest situation.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they're both employed by the Knicks, but you can date your coworkers, right?
Most jobs I've been at, you have to inform HR first.
Okay, maybe they informed HR. I don't know.
Good for them. Happy for them.
Yeah, they should have a whole MSG doesn't. Outside the Knicks, there's not a lot of content on there anyway. I guess there's the Rangers also, but they should have we're gonna follow the life of Wally and his girl.
I mean, they do need content.
They need content. So Obi, I want to talk to you about OBJ.
Okay.
I know I was an Obi truther for a little while.
Yeah, hard.
Last year I was pretty out on him. This year I've been an Obi truther. I don't even know what to think anymore. People are talking up. I guess he had his stat line for the last game. The Knicks freaking sucked against the Toronto Raptors. But if you look at Obi's stat line, 19 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 blocks, a steal. Do you have a good game, Jay?
Statistics-wise, but he played 45 minutes, so...
Yeah, he played 45 minutes. The stats lied. I watched the game. Obi wasn't very good. A lot of his points came in garbage. Mm-hmm. He got some assists, but there were also times where he was by the basket. He should have just gone for the shot, and he just passed it out. And the guy hit a 3 or something, but it was also Obi. You're by the basket. Attack the basket. This is your role.
Right.
I think he's got to be more aggressive around the rim. He needs to, he should be operating in the post.
He should, especially since he's shooting one of the worst 3-point percentages of anybody who shoots regularly. And he's super athletic. So, keep cutting to the rim and do alley-oops all day.
I think Tibbs, every time Obi shoots a 3, he should call timeout and get Obi out of the game.
Yeah. He should do that for everything. Every time I guess he'd run out of timeouts. I was gonna say every time Randle like drives straight into a double team and doesn't pass it, like call time.
Every time Fournier doesn't come close to keeping up with the guy he's covering. Every time RJ gets blocked going up for a basket.
Knicks are out of timeouts 3 minutes into the first quarter.
Should we do New Year's resolutions for each player?
We should do that next episode because we are just about out of time.
Okay. How about a longer bit to suggest at the end of the show?
Yeah, with no preparation.
No preparation. We don't need any preparation. Knicks have no preparation.
I also have to say this. DraftKings Sportsbook is coming soon to New York. I know you love this part, Mark. It won't be long until you can bet on all your favorite sports right here in the Empire State on the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app. You know your DraftKings for their daily fantasy contests, and now they brought their expertise to sports betting so that sports fans everywhere can get in on the action. DraftKings Sportsbooks offers you everything you would want from a sports betting app, from player props to same-game parlays. They have it all. In just a short time, you'll be able to bet on your own favorite sports from the comfort of your own home with one of America's top-rated sportsbook apps, DraftKings Sportsbook. DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable. Best of all, you can deposit and withdraw cash whenever you want. So check out DraftKings and tell them I sent you by using promo code NYKP. That's promo code NYKP. That's short for New York Knicks Podcast. DraftKings Sportsbook coming soon to New York State. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for full details. Must be 21 plus and physically present in New York. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-846-7369. All right.
Perfect.
We did.
You know who I like? I'm going to go some positives before the show ended. Quentin Grimes, I think looks pretty good. I think he's really, really active on defense. I think he's going to be a good player.
He better be. I mean, the Knicks need to hit on some of these draft picks. They can't keep drafting guys that are like, maybe he'll be like an eighth man on an okay team.
Right. I mean, the Knicks under the last 2 years have everyone they've drafted, or everyone that, like, I guess they have the guy overseas, and everyone they've drafted has seemed like a pretty good player, but no stars yet. The Knicks need to. Knicks probably need to get a top 10 pick and nail that pick in next year's draft.
Yeah, they really do. They had so many misses with top 10 picks. They need to nail one.
Also, I know some people will say the Knicks should tank, and the other people say the Knicks should go. Knicks should not tank. That's awful. I think the Knicks will just end up with a top 10 pick at this rate, trying.
I mean, the Knicks got like 5 top 10 picks since we started the show, and they haven't tried to tank once. They legitimately went into each season saying we're going to be good, and they ended up with 2 of the worst seasons in franchise history.
Their first 17-win season, I think they tanked in the second half of the season, to be fair. But
they went into the season saying, like, we're going to be good. This is like a playoff team.
I mean, it's just like... So Quentin Grimes is my Nick of the week. Okay. Who's your Nick of the week, Jay?
I'm going to go with McBride. He didn't blow me away with any of his stats, but he held down the point guard position. He played some good defense.
He wasn't very good in the Toronto game.
No, I mean, Fred VanVleet scored like 700 points, but that was the thing. The Knicks had all their big guys out, and Toronto's a big team, and they had all their big guys back for the first time in a long time. And I'm like,
Toronto looks pretty good.
I'm like, who's going to go off? Like Siakam or Boucher or Achiuwa or no, VanVleet.
You know what I gotta say about Toronto? Like the Knicks should buy their development staff. Toronto is so good at developing players. They're the opposite of the Knicks.
Yeah.
Fred VanVleet, not even drafted. OG Onabwe, whatever his name is, he was like the 25th pick. Siakam was a late first round pick.
Mm-hmm.
Scotty Barnes was a good pick. He was a top 10 pick.
Mm-hmm.
But they keep finding guys. Boucher, I think, was not even drafted.
Mm-hmm.
They are so good at finding talent and developing talent. They are just the opposite of the Knicks.
Yeah, that's what they need to do. The Knicks are in NBA purgatory right now, so they're gonna have to get some good picks with the later. They're gonna have to nail some of the later picks because they're not gonna get.
They're not getting a later pick this year. You really think they are? I would be shocked the Knicks pick higher than 15 this year. The Knicks just aren't heading it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They're in purgatory. They're not going to get a top pick. So they're gonna
They're not going to get a top 5 pick. You're right.
They're not. So they're gonna have to nail one of these other picks.
So yeah, what do we got coming up this week, Jay? What do we got? By the way, last show I think I said the Knicks won 2-2. They should scrap the season. They won 2-2. They should probably scrap the season. I don't care about the injuries. I don't care about Randle being out. The Knicks are absolutely insane if they try to make a trade to improve this team. Like at the trade deadline, they're out of their goddamn minds.
I don't even want to get into how they could have had DeRozan and like Lowry or Ball or something. It's like
I don't think they could have gotten Lowry, but they Ball and DeRozan. It's amazing how Chicago went from last year. They were like, "Oh, why'd you make these stupid moves? You're not even a playoff team." To, "Hey, they have a shot this year."
yeah.
So the Knicks have coming up this week before. They got Indiana, Boston, and Boston. And I guess depending on when we record, they have San Antonio on Monday. So those 4 games. What do you think, Jay?
This is the easy part of the schedule, by the way.
Holy crap! Indiana. I still love the fact that the Knicks are like, maybe we could trade for Miles Turner. Indiana is basically like, we can't go anywhere. Our team's basically, the season's like basically over, and the Knicks are like, with a worse roster, they're like, maybe we get Miles Turner, we'll win the title. So Indiana is probably a not a win.
I'm gonna say
Boston's probably not a win.
I'm gonna say they beat Indiana, split Boston, and lose to San Antonio.
2-2.
Yeah, they'll probably win both away games because the Knicks seem to like to toy with our emotions. So the start of the week 2-0, and then just flop at home against Boston, and then throw up a stinker against the Spurs.
You know who they have next Wednesday, the 12th, though? They have Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
The one team they they can't lose to.
The one team they can't
Lose to. Didn't they beat Dallas twice like last year and the year before?
Oh yeah.
Like they have a pretty good record against Dallas for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Okay, it's 2-2. If the Knicks go 3-1, then Leon Rose can make all the trades he wants at the deadline. But Leon, if you go 2-2 or 1-3 this week, trade every veteran at the deadline, please.
Well, at least we ended it on a very positive note again.
I was listening to, I think it was Zach Lowe's show, and I forgot who he had on. They were talking about Evan Fournier's contract, and they're like Evan Fournier, like, well, that's still a good contract. That's not a big deal. I'm sure the Knicks could trade him. And then whoever else on the show was like, yeah, the Knicks are going to have to attach an asset to that. There's no way they're getting out of that contract. And like Lowe was like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. A little bit shorter show today because I really am in health and safety protocols and need to go to bed.
Don't worry. Next week we'll be back with an extra 10 minutes of Knicks Suck.
All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. We will see you next week.
Goodbye, everybody. It's over. Everybody, it's time to go. This is the end. Say goodbye.